I purchased a vintage Technics SL-D30 turntable from a family friend. And unfortunately, the person who originally owned that turntable has since passed away. I wanted to do the right thing and try to get that turntable up and running again, see if it could even play records. More importantly, if it does still work, I also wanted to just get it cleaned up, as it's been sitting around unused for years and it's covered in dust and grime. Is all this going to even be possible? I have no idea. Let's jump into a Technics SL-D30 restoration next. Okay, here's the Technics SL-D30 that I recently bought for 50 bucks. I have no idea if it even works. Let's see. Now, before I even power this on, I just realized I'll need my own set of RCA cables, which I can find, but then there's this annoying ground cable here. These always get lost on these turntables for obvious reasons. I'm hoping I can maybe kind of do my own little fix here. I can maybe order one, but if not, there's probably a metal screw under here, and I could connect a metal, just get a metal to metal connection on my preamp, and maybe with just a speaker wire. Let's see if that'll work if I get bad hum. Well, I powered on the unit and it's definitely spinning and definitely humming. So I'll definitely have to figure out if I can replace that ground wire. Here's the thing though, just likes to keep moving. Not sure what's going on here. Can't figure out why it won't stop. This is a repeat button. Thought maybe that was it. There's a start stop button. Let me grab a record here. It wants to start. It's a good sign. When I turn the volume up, we get buzz and a little bit of sound. So that's good. I want to stop. Okay. So, in theory, once that arm goes down, it should stop rotating. It should power itself off. But it's not doing that. It just keeps spinning. So, gotta dig deeper into this and figure out what's going on. All right, good news. It's powered up. Hit start. And now we're moving. More importantly, we hit stop. And it does actually stop. It takes a minute, but let me show you what I did to get that going. So first things first, to flip the table over and remove these 6 screws from around the perimeter. Now I did what any logical person would do, and I just looked online to see what was wrong, why this was not spinning, and somebody mentioned that you needed to clean a switch, which I actually just had to do on a Pioneer PL300. So it took me a minute to figure out where the switch was, but after some investigating, I found it right here. So I flushed that really well with deoxit to get that, just this whole area cleaned up. And then I noticed that this here sort of exercises that switch. Right, so I used that to get that cleaning too. Now, my guess is that, in all honesty, this whole section here probably needs to be removed and maybe get a little bit of better grease under there. That might allow for a faster shut-off time, but for now, I'm just gonna live with the longer shut-off time. I'm not quite ready to take all of that off just yet. So here's my idea to fix this grounding issue. I'm just going to take this wire here, insert it like so. It'll come out the other end. And I'll try to just screw it down there to make a metal connection. Okay, I got that screwed in there. It's not the best connection in the world, but it'll probably do. If I had a spade connector, that would probably work the best, but I don't. So I don't even really know if this is going to work. So let's just see if it does. All right, I got it powered up back in place. We'll see what happens. Now, the one thing is I don't hear any hum, that's for sure. Okay, well, I know this is a little, you know, DIY here, but if you've got one of these turntables and you can't find a ground cord for it that plugs into that slot, or if you just don't feel like buying one, you can just run a speaker wire like so, and as long as you make that metal connection and then you connect the other end to your preamp ground connection, it should be able to knock out that horrible hum and buzz that we had earlier. But as you can see, it's now starting and stopping. By the way, for any of you who are interested, this turntable came with an Ortophone 14 Pmount cartridge already installed, and I don't know, I'm gonna spend some time listening to it and, you know, determine if it's worth replacing or not. I actually ordered a modern day Audio Technica that I can easily slide in there in case this one was worn out, but we'll give it some time, listen to it, and make that determination. Okay, here's one of my favorite features on this turntable. That's right, when it gets to the end of the side, goes back to rest. Fully automatic direct drive. Gotta love it. Now, one of the things I'm most interested in with this turntable, now that we know we've got it running, is I'd really love to clean this dust cover. It's kind of hard for probably you guys to see, but you can kind of see in the glare of the lights right here. It's kind of just gross, and it's overall just really cloudy. There's not too many scratches really, but it's, well, maybe so. It's just cloudy. You can't really see the record when you've got it sort of in there. So I'm going to show you real quick what I use to clean these. I usually use this product that I found on Amazon called Scratch X, but I also bought some Scratch Doctor stuff that I found at my auto store yesterday, because this may actually run out. And I've got some polishing cloth, so basically I just go crazy squirting the stuff on here. And we'll start buffing it out. Oh yeah, isn't this fun? There's a couple different ways you can do this. The first is using a cloth. We'll see how well this does, but I've also had success attaching this sort of buffer tool here to my drill and just buffing it out with my electric drill. Look at that. Gross. And this can really get it clean if it's really dirty. But I'm going to keep working on this. I'm going to spare you guys. We all have more important things to do in life than watch me buff out the rest of that. Just give you an idea about how dirty this dust cover was. It's one side, that's the other. Pretty dirty. Okay, we got that finished. That looks much better. You can actually like see things through it. So again, it's kind of hard with the lights in here, but you'll notice a lot of those scratches that I had going for me are now gone, and I ended up, I mean, That's how squeaky clean it is. Ended up getting on the inside too, because there was just some gunk and things in there. So looking much better. Excited to get this on the turntable, see how it looks. Okay, I got the top installed back. It's just really easy. Just slides into these hinges back here. And that looks so much better. It's really hard to explain just how dirty this was. You couldn't even see the record through it, but it just feels great to get these dust covers all nice and cleaned up. Get all that grit and grime off there for the last 30 or so years. But really excited with how this turned out. Next, I really need to get under here and clean up this. Okay, so now that I got the dust cover all cleaned up, I just want to work on the actual body of the table itself. You can see how dusty it is from all of my just picking it up from fingerprints and everything. And I kind of want to get in here and clean those out, try to get in there a little bit. You can see how dusty it is back here. But the one thing that I can't figure out is when I take off this rubber mat, there's just a ton of what looks like to be oil all over the platter, and this actually makes it really hard to remove. So I'm not sure where that's coming from or how it even got there really, but I'm going to get all that cleaned up and get that off of there. I'll come back and show you guys when I'm done. Okay, I got the base of the turntable cleaned up and was able to get a lot of that grime off of there, and was able to clean these up. It's always, you know, you can always do a little bit better job, but if you get a little OCD on these things, you'll be cleaning them forever. I also got whatever that was off of the platter and off of the mat, so I can put all that back together. But look at, these were spots I used to clean the surface of the table, and it was pretty gross. Glad it's looking this much better. All right, here's the finished product. Got the mat back on, everything nice and cleaned up. The dust cover just looks so much better. Everything just looks so much better. All right, now I'm going to tell you a little bit more about some of the features on this turntable, why I love it. Now, there are a lot of features I really enjoy on this little turntable here, and I'll run through a few of them really quickly. The first is that within the mat here, there are these little arm triggers that can automatically detect whether your album is a 12-inch or if you're using a 45 single. And then from there, it will trigger this to know where the arm should land. I obviously really love that this is an fully automatic turntable. All you gotta do is hit the start button, everything is off and running. So once everything starts playing, big fan that Technics included this strobe light here, which is gonna help with speed adjustment, which you can adjust the pitch and the speed right here, and using that strobe light is a lifesaver to figure out if you've got the right speeds or not. Obviously, you've got your speed switch here, your 33 and your 45. This also has a repeat option, so if you turn this on while the arm is in rest, it'll play through, come back, and just play through that side over again. If you're not a big fan of the automatic start and stop, then you can use this queuing function here and manually drop the arm up and down. So just to give you a quick idea, so you know, a lot of more newer turntables don't have this automatic function. Now, there's a lot of people out there that say these direct drive automatic turntables cause noise and that it makes your playback, well, noisy. But I've yet to really experience that, to be honest with you, and just enjoy the simplicity of this turntable. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this turntable uses a Pmount cartridge. Just really easy. Just take this screw out, pull this out, put a new one in, tighten the screw, you're off and running. Another great thing is it already has the anti-skating set to a factory number, as well as the tone arm is already set. Now, over time, some of this may need to be adjusted. For instance, the arm may not go far enough, or it may go too far, it may just need some tweaking. And if you have the manual, you can actually go in here, and there's all these screws around. You'll see right here and up here, and there's even a screw hidden up underneath here. And that will help you tweak all these adjustments in case the turntable's not quite, acting properly. And I just think that's like a really great feature for especially like just a beginner's turntable. You don't have to get in there and mess with a bunch of things. You can just get in there, make those simple adjustments, and everything should be back up and playing great. Well, there you have it. That is all it took to get the Technics SL-D30 back up and running. I'll be honest with you, I was a little nervous there at the beginning that this thing wouldn't stop spinning, but luckily the internet told me how to fix it because I wouldn't have known otherwise. I'm just a tinkerer, okay? Just like to tinker. But I am really happy that this is back up and running. I've been using it for the last day or so, and it sounds great. Now, should I go in there and completely take everything apart and get all that old grease out of there and apply new grease and all of that? Yes. Do I actually have time to do all that? No. So for right now, I'm just going to keep using it as it is and just, hopefully it will just keep performing as great as it has been the last day. I've really enjoyed the sound of this turntable and that Ortophone 14 cartridge. I do have a new one on order, an Audio Technica cartridge, just cheap one from Amazon. I'm curious if that's going to sound better than the Ortophone 14. Let me know in the comments if you have experience with either of those and whether or not I should keep the Ortophone or switch over to the Audio Technica. But most importantly, I'm just happy that we got this turntable up and running again and that it's looking almost like new. Like I said earlier, this was a turntable of a family friend who the original owner passed away, and I just love seeing old electronics come back into new life. And I think that the person who originally owned this turntable would be excited to see this old beater that he had sitting around in storage back up and running and looking great again. Now, this isn't the first Technics turntable that I've discussed on my channel. I had one not too long ago that was kind of hit or miss, and there's things I really liked about it, and then there were other things that kind of drove me crazy. If you'd like to learn more about that turntable, you can do so by watching this video here.